Hello, and we are live. Today's class, how to bring in new clients. Man, is this a hot topic. We're going to give Jessica just a few minutes. She's going to tag everyone in a message and share the link so that everyone can join us. So we thought this would be a little bit more efficient than actually tagging you in a post, and then you would just get like 1,000,001 notifications. So that's not so fun. So I see some people are starting to trickle in, which is great. And hello, Denise. How are you? Aloha. We're just giving people a few minutes to get on board. That's why I'm a little bit early. Jessica and I powwowed, and we said, all right, we're gonna get this down, and I'm gonna email everyone and tell them about the live event. So here we are. We had a lot of people register for this event, which is really exciting. And I think this is such a cool concept. I mean, how cool is this that we could have education from across the nation and the world even, by doing these live events and live streams. So that's really awesome. I am in Hawaii, so, let's give Jessica a few more minutes. And where is everyone from? I know it's from, you guys are from all over the U.S. So where are you guys located? Just comment in the comment section and let me know where you are in the world. Okay. All right, people are still, it's just letting me know that people are, the attendees are increasing, which is really great. Florida! Yay! I have a home in Tampa as well, so I go back and forth quite a bit, and I love it. I'm right on Tampa Bay there, so it's very fun. New York, love New York. Janice, hello Janice. Dawn, Dina, Stacy, awesome. Just a couple of announcements too while we're waiting for people are just loading on right now. So I do have 2 live workshops left for the year. I've been traveling across the U.S. meeting estheticians, which has been just fabulous with my Abundant Esthetician workshop. So if you know anyone in the Phoenix area, I'll be there on October 17th. I still do have seats available. And then I'll be in Denver on October 19th. Interestingly, the October 17th I have a special guest speaker, and Douglas Preston is actually going to be joining me and teaching a segment in that workshop. So it's going to be extra special. I do cap out the workshops, the live workshops, to 20 attendees. I might squeak in a few extras if there's a couple more, but I keep the workshops really nice and small so we can turn the classroom into a nice think tank and get some great work done. All right. Hello. All right. Okay, so good. We have quite a few. We had, I think, like 135 people register for this particular class. And I'm going to use it as an example as I'm teaching you or showing you, how to bring in new clients, because it is a hot topic. I'll tell you what, every time I'm on a coaching call, it comes up. I mean, like, I haven't met an esthetician yet that doesn't want new clients. So it's really true. I mean, but, I'm also here to tell you that there is no magic bullet. There is no magic bullet to make things happen. I mean, being an entrepreneur, that's why I posted a couple of things in the event page. One was like the life of an entrepreneur that we could all relate to, which is, one day we're having a great day, the next day we're like, oh my gosh, I'm so down on myself. And then the next day we're like, what was I thinking? Life is fabulous. And this is the ebb and flow of being really an entrepreneur and a business owner. So, it takes guts to own a spa, to be in business today, and it takes tenacity. And if it was so easy, then everyone would be doing it, right? And that's what I always say. So before we kind of dive into, I want to give you 2 things today One, I'm going to share my story of how I built my 300 base clientele. And then we're going to talk about how to create your avatar, which is the other thing that I posted in the event page. But I'd like to just take a step back, if you will, and let's just go up to 40,000 feet and look down. I want you to look down upon your business. And by the way, definitely grab a notebook and a pen for sure. And you know what? I'm so rude. I didn't even introduce myself. I do this all the time. I'm like so enthusiastic about like diving into the material. I'm like, I did notice that a lot of people, there's a lot of new faces. So hello. I'm Maxine Drake. I am a business coach for spa professionals. I'm an esthetician and a massage therapist also. And I created the Esthetician Business Academy, which is a live, it's an online business course. It's a business in a box for estheticians, and I can tell you more about that another time. So, and I want to thank Jessica Roberts because, you know, Jessica reached out to me and she said, you know, I have this vision of bringing on other educators that could just bring some great value into the group, and it's just needed, you know. So thank you, Jessica, for reaching out. I swear, I think we talked for like 2 hours on the phone, and I love her passion to spread, you know, love, to spread education, and ultimately, you know, we gotta unite. You know, we have to unite and be of help to one another, because instead of all this competition stuff, right? Okay, so what we're going to go over today, of course, is how to bring in new clients. And, you know, what I was saying earlier, I had to stop and introduce myself, was, you know, let's just go to 40,000 feet and take a look at your business. And let's just do a little self-check-in, a little check-in on, you know, are you still passionate? You know, are you still passionate about your business? Are, you know, and if you're not, how can you get it back? And if you can't, you know, what will you do next? You know, those are really, really important questions, because, and I don't know how many are brand new estheticians. Maybe you can throw me some hearts if you're brand new, meaning, you know, a year or less, just to give me an idea. Just hit some hearts or some likes to give me an idea. And by the way, if you're ever doing a live stream, just know that there's about a 8-second delay with the live stream and the comments and, you know, me speaking. So no new estheticians. We have only seasoned estheticians on this live call today. Holy cow! So it kind of doesn't matter. But I'm going to bring up a good point, because remember when you first graduated, and, you know, we all start off at the same place, right? We all, you know, leave aesthetic school with our, you know, with our certification, with our license, and we are excited, we're nervous, we're enthusiastic, you know, we have all these butterflies, we have all this stuff going on. And, you know, I think we lose that as we spend years in the industry, and especially if we have and experience multiple fails where we're constantly just falling down. We feel like, we just can't even, you know, pay the rent, and we're just like getting by, and like we scrape by and we get all the bills paid 1 month, and then we start all over again, and we start to build up like, gosh, do I really love this anymore, right? But when we first get out of school, we are enthusiastic, we are excited. So the story I want to share with you is my own. You know, when I got out of aesthetic school, very, very, very few of us get out of aesthetic school and we land a job where we're just handed a book full of clients on a silver platter. Agreed? I mean, it just doesn't happen. So I started off just like you, meaning I left aesthetic school. I did land a job, kind of humble beginnings. I started off at a department store at Dillard's, and I think most of us start off with 0 clients, really. So we are all start off at the same place. You know, we're all at ground zero there, which is, you know, that's pretty much the truth. So my first job was at Dillard Spa, and not to say like sound like ancestors who are like, oh my God, I had to walk, you know, to school uphill backwards in the snow. But you know, when I got hired, I was the second esthetician that was being brought on. So therefore I was given Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And there was a senior esthetician there who had 5 years experience. She'd been there a while. And I was excited because I thought, okay, great, I'm gonna have a mentor, you know, someone to kind of show me the ropes and this and that. And that didn't happen. Maybe you can relate. So I was given my Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and basically had to build my own book because, you know, there were no clients handed to me on a silver platter. So what did I do? Well, yes, of course, I made friends with all the service providers that were in the spa and the salon. We had hairstylists, we had nail artists, and massage therapists. But I wanted to take it a step further. And I wanted to be on this fast track of growing. Like I just wanted to keep my head down, and my focus was to fill my book. And just like all of us, right? So, and you know what? I will put on my glasses and I'll try to get to some questions and stuff as we go. But let me just get through my story, because what I'm hoping to spark in you is and as I share this story, actually, even on my coaching calls, you know, a lot of people will turn around and make it their own and find little nuggets to take to go, wait a second, you know, I could do that too. And that's just the thing, you know, we're all cut from the same cloth. I'm no different from you. I think it was Deepak Chopra that said once that if, you know, one person does something, you know, we need to pay attention to it, kind of thing. So anyway, so what I did was I went down to the cosmetic counters, which was down the escalator, and I made friends with all of the counter managers that were at the Clarins, at the Estee Lauder, the Clinique counters, right? And I made friends with them and gave them facials, gave them brow waxes, and just, you know, and developed a relationship with them. And then I asked them, would you mind if I approached your, you know, customers coming up to the counter, not in the middle of a sale, of course, and invited them up to the spa for a free brow wax? And they were totally in agreement with that. They said, sure, Maxine, love to help you. So that's exactly what I did. Now, some of you might feel like, this is a little scary, like walking up to strangers and just like introducing yourself and offering something for free, especially when it's not even in the department where you are, right? Well, yeah, it was scary for me too. It really was. I mean, I had to totally step out of my comfort zone. I'm an introvert too, just like most of us estheticians who want to close ourselves in our treatment room and just work our magic, right? Where most of us are introverts. So I was completely stepping out of my comfort zone by walking up to these women. And I'm not going to lie, there were times that I would walk up and I would be like, I would just turn away, you know, and be like, go like muster up some courage, you know, for a minute. And then I would come back, you know, maybe to the next person. And, you know, and the more I did it and went up to these people and said, you know, hey, would you like a complimentary brow wax? They're like, sure, here, you know? And I said, no, up at the spa. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know that there was a spa here. I can't even tell you how many times I heard that one. And I was like, yeah, that was half my problem. But, you know, so here I was putting our spa on the map, right? And me on the map. So here we would go up the escalator and into the spa, which was quite beautiful, by the way. And the first thing I would have them do is fill out an intake form so I could capture all their info. Now, of course, when we're doing a brow wax, we want to know what medications they're on and things of that nature to make sure that they're eligible for that brow wax, right? I could have easily asked them that at the counter downstairs, but I didn't. I wanted to get them up into my environment. So I would hand them the clipboard, capture their information. I see a ton of comments coming through. I'll totally get to you. Jessica, if you're able to answer anything, thanks for helping me out. She's totally my wingman today. So I would hand them the clipboard, give them some cucumber water, and then of course bring them into my treatment room to give them the free brow wax. Now, something else would take place in that room while I have them there. I would also start talking about their skin. I would give them a complimentary skin analysis while I was at it, right? Why not? You're there. Because once I put my hands on someone, and I know you feel the same, magic happens, right? As soon as you touch them. So I didn't stop there. So sometimes I would get a tip and sometimes I wouldn't. And I would thank them and they would leave and I still wasn't finished. So at the end of my day, what I would do is I would take all those intake forms and of all the people that, received the free brow wax, and then I would write them a thank you card. Write them a thank you card, which basically said, thank you for trusting me with your brows, and, maybe make mention of something that we talked about in the treatment room if it pertained to their skin, and that I would love to deliver a treatment for them, and these are my days that I work, and here's the phone number to call, and I hope to see you again. It was just that authentic and sincere. And I built a 300 clientele base in under a year doing this. Now, let me also back up. I never lost my enthusiasm during this. So you know how we walk into, or we look at our client book for the next day and we see that, oh my gosh, I have a brow wax at 1 and maybe another bikini wax at 5. What the heck am I going to do? And those 4 hours, or 3.5 hours. And, so that's what I would do. I would come in the next day and I'd be like, wow, okay, I have 2.5 hours there. How many free brow waxes can I fit in that 2.5 hours? So anytime I saw a gap in my schedule, I just kept my head down. I just kept my head down, and my mission was to fill my book. Now, this was a system that I developed. I am a very big believer in creating systems and programs to plug into your business model. And I share this because what I want to invoke in you is thinking outside of the box for you. How could you get creative and do something similar? I put out a blog today, on the 5 things on how to gain new clients. And the first thing was passion. And the second thing was, recognizing your ideal client. And we're going to get into that with the avatar thing in this next bit. But you really want to, you want to come back, and you want to, I just totally lost my train of thought. Holy cow, I hate when that happens. It happens to me more often than I'd like to admit, now that I'm officially in my 50s. So, but anyway, so the thing is that I really kept my head down with that system. And I invite you to create a system and then tweak it as you plug it in, right? And you could see what works and what doesn't. Now, some of my favorite places for you to build, is in a salon spa environment, because you have all that ability to cross market. Some of these solo spas where you're individual and you're in individual rooms, when I'm on my coaching calls, I've discovered the same complaint over, that they're just still very isolated. You're very isolated in that room, and not everyone is just willing to help you that, might be in the next room over. And if you're able to make friends and do that cross-marketing, if you are in that scenario, that's the best. That's just how you can pretty much double your client list right out of the gate. Okay. So, all right, let's see. All right. So the big tip that I wanted to give you today was how to create your avatar. And again, we kind of want to step back, right, and go to 40,000 feet and look down upon your business and ask yourself, who is your ideal client? I was at a marketing event, and the one thing that I learned, and it just floored me, was that 1% of entrepreneurs know who their target market is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's one of our biggest fall downs too, because what we do as estheticians, and especially most of us who are solopreneurs, we tend to create the service and create the products, and then we market to everybody. And that's like the wrong way to go about doing it, really. And I ask this in the workshops when I'm touring live, who is your ideal client? And a lot of people don't know. A lot of people are very stumped with that question. So I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to kind of make it simple of creating an avatar so that you can get the wheels turning of who your ideal client is. Because when you narrow that search and you narrow that person, I promise you that other people will start to trickle in as well. I can use myself as an example. When I first launched everything, with my business and the Esthetician Business Academy and my coaching services, I just wanted to help every single esthetician out there. I was just like, all right, well, if you're breathing, I want to help you. I just want to help you. And really, where my niche is the solopreneur. I have a special place in my heart for the solopreneurs, because I was one. And who is my target market? It's the person that was the me that was me, years ago. And I wish that I had someone to kind of help me along the way and show me the ropes, because we tend to get really spun out, in our own business of what to do next, or we're watching in all these different forums all these different ideas of, oh, well, so-and-so is doing that, so I'm going to try that. And then we try it and it doesn't work, and then we throw out the bathwater with the baby. And then, someone else has brought in, this modality. So we're like, oh, well, if I just get the, whatever, this hydrofacial, that's going to be the golden ticket to bring clients into my door. And it's like, these are all the wrong answers, right? Because what happens is we invest in all these things and we try all these things, and then we're like, oh my God, that wasn't the magic bullet, and now I'm $30,000 in debt, and I'm still pissed and unhappy because I don't have clients coming in the door. So we need to really rein it back. And, I can use Apple for an example too. I know they're big and they're a big conglomerate, but here's the thing. They hone in and they target, on the hip person that makes X amount of money and, wants to be part of their, their culture, right? But what happens is they're not leaving anybody out, because grandma over there, she wants to be hip too. So she buys the Apple product, you see? So if we could speak directly to our target market, then everyone else will kind of follow suit, and that person that you've created will pull in other clients. All right, so I'm going to tell you how to do this. So what you want to do with your avatar is you want to name your avatar. You want to give it a name. You want to give her a name. I say a her probably because mostly females are going to come to us first. I'm not saying you can't target men, but give him or her a name. What is her age? What is their personal details? What problems do they want to solve? And how do you solve them for them? Where do they live? How much money do they make per year? What are their political views? What kind of car do they drive? So as you're creating your avatar, write all of these details out on your sheet. And I want you to speak and make all of your marketing efforts to that one person. I'm going to give you some other questions also. And you definitely write these down because these are questions that are going to help you rein in that target market and to find your niche, right? So what does your potential client want more than anything else in the world? And what would they be willing to pay to have that? And how can your products, your specific products, and the services that you offer match up to what they need, to what they want, and to what they desire? Because when you can kind of, how do I say, the perfect place in your business is where your potential client or your prospect meets at the crossroads the products and the services that you offer. Does that make sense? So let's just see if there's any questions. I gotta put on my glasses for this. Yes, I'm there. All right. So what happens when your ideal, okay, this is from Lacey. So what happens when your ideal avatar doesn't meet your demographic is what I'm assuming there. That's a really good question, because as we're going through as entrepreneurs, we tend to fail more than we succeed, right? So that's why I always, even in my coaching, I'm like, well, let's get on with the failing, because those steps are just bringing you closer to your goal. So usually when we reach that crossroad about demographics, right, that's when we have to take a step back and we have to go, well, what is your particular area asking for? What do they want? Is a hydrofacial going to fit in there? Is, eyelash extensions going to fit in there? There's so many things that we do now as estheticians. Like we have really expanded our licensing, and we do so much now, and there's so much expertism in all these different areas. So instead of instead of changing, products and services, we want to match what your particular demographics is asking for. I think that's where another fall down is, right? Maybe you can agree. I don't know, maybe you won't, but is that we got to find out what problems to solve, in your area. Because your area might not be the problems to solve in LA or New York City or, a small town in Oklahoma, or, you know what I mean? So we really want to pay attention to those demographics and what those prospects are asking for. All right. Yeah, my pleasure. Can your avatar have an age range? And that's from Shanae. Really good question. Because here's a question that comes up. This was really funny. Shanae, I think you weren't in that class. It was in one of my live workshops, and literally I said, who is your target market? And literally someone spoke up in class, and they're like, anyone that wants to pay for my services that's between the age of 18 and 65. And literally this woman chimed in, and she said, hey, I'm 66. Are you leaving me out? So I think, the answer to that is be specific with your age range of what you're targeting, right? Be specific to your age range. When I was putting together my avatar for my solopreneur esthetician, her name was Beth. She was 42 years old. She had 2 kids. She had a supportive husband, but it doesn't mean that, the people that are in my Esthetician Business Academy right now, I think the youngest, actually don't know the youngest, they're pretty fresh out of school, and the oldest is close to 70. So just hone in on your target market, on your specific person, and speak to one person and you will reach others by doing that. I know it sounds crazy because it sounds like, oh my gosh, we're leaving everyone else out, but we're not. We're not leaving anyone else out. All right, let me just take a look here. Kathy, have to believe in what services you offer. I find my passion in holistic treatments. Hi, Kathy, good to see you. Kathy attending one of my live workshops. Yes, very, very true. That passion is your driver, which is why I started off the live, the live stream with let's just take a step back and revisit, are we still passionate? And I say that because, well, two things. I was a flight attendant for 5 years, and, I remember, working with other, estheticians, other flight attendants who were not so happy about being there anymore, right? So you'd be working these trips with them, and sometimes it would be 3-4 day trips. And you're just like, oh my gosh, she would be rude to the passengers, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you totally need to retire or figure out something to reignite that passion, right? And, and so I'm not saying that if it's gone, it's not throwing out the baby with the bathwater either. What do you need to reignite that, or what do you need to re-inspire you to get that back? And if you can't get that back, then you gotta ask yourself, well, what is your next step? So yeah. All right. Let's see. Of course I remember you, Kathy. Demita, so it's not about age. Sounds like a specific person that fits what you want to treat. Absolutely. That's absolutely right. So if you're, let's just use what? Let's just take an example, right? How are we doing on time? All right, good. Let's just take an example of what's really hot right now. Okay, eyelash extensions are unbelievably hot right now, right? Would you say that for the most part, if you're targeting the 25-year-old, what happens to the 45-year-old? She wants to be like the 25-year-old, right? So that's what I'm saying about targeting us. Just get really specific with age. You're not leaving anybody off the table for sure. If anything, you're leaving money, you're losing money if you don't get specific and narrow your ideal client. And let me go back to some Cynthia. Let's see. Oh, oops. Okay. All right. So I think there's some other discussions going on there in between you guys. Okay, so that's good. So there was a question. I was on a call with an esthetician, and she's like, "Well, can I have multiple avatars?" That was a really good question because the answer is yes. Because what if you're doing microcurrent over here? That's a specific person, right? Eyelash extensions might be another avatar, right? So you could create a few different avatars within your business. Did I just totally confuse you on that? So the homework is to get really specific, and to be honest with you, this is really like the nuts and bolts to business. This is like the secret sauce, like sitting down and putting pen to paper of who your ideal client work. It takes, it's very thought provoking to go, okay, yeah, who is it? Because we want to we don't want to leave anybody out, but the truth is that you won't. So, if you could just put the pen to paper and start writing out your avatar, what does she look like? All those specific things and the questions that I asked you. I hope you wrote those down. If not, you could totally re-listen to this. I think that you will be on the right track. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year, if you start implementing this and start putting your marketing efforts towards what problem are you going to solve, for this ideal client, then you're going to be way ahead of the game. Way, way, way ahead of the game. Now, Another thing is, what to do once you've created that avatar. You could do a little deeper analysis. For example, you could, once you've created this avatar and you know that, your specific age, where she lives, all of that, as far as competition goes, I don't really believe in competition per se. I think that there's enough to go around, but that's where you want to do that analysis to find out, well, who else is targeting exactly who you're targeting. Chances are they're not, because, like I said, 1% of entrepreneurs totally miss this. So just by having this little bit of information, you're going to be ahead of the game. All right, let's just go to. Oh my gosh, there's over 100 comments. All right, how do I do this? Let's see. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I almost need, with this many people on the call, I keep doing that on this live stream. Scroll up. Let's see. Oh, Liz. Oh, great question. She said she's working for a franchise, and how would she go about approaching clients? Well, if you're in a franchise situation, usually there's other service providers there, right? So, it's all about building your book of business. So again, a great place to start would be to, with those other service providers. I'm just a really big believer in that. I think that it's really hard to, and I know estheticians who have done it. I totally have my hats off to them, because I certainly didn't start that way. I started off, working in that department store and getting, a good solid client base before I went off onto my own room. And but for 2 years, I just built and had my head down. So I think that, Liz, to answer your question, you could certainly see who you align with as far as another service provider there, to where you could just either do some cross marketing, or maybe there's a location that you could go out to that's nearby. I was very fortunate when I owned my spa. We had a fitness center right next door to us, so we were able to sometimes stick our massage chair outside, and people would be like, what's that? Or do you want to come over for a little 10-minute, massage? So, use your resources, walk around outside wherever you are, and just start thinking of things of who you could align yourself with. Because really, what am I saying here? Yes, you want to be passionate. Yes, you want to be enthusiastic, because no one wants to, people want to feel like the positive vibes, right? They really do. And people know, when you're authentic and stuff, people could see it. And that's why the live streaming is working so well these days, because it's the next best thing to being in front of someone, because you can look in their eyes and be like, yeah, they're full of crap, or they're not, right? So, I think that we're relying too much on social media to do things for us. And I'll just say this, and this is going to be another live stream, because there's just so many little snippets that I could talk about, with social media. And that's why a lot of estheticians are frustrated, because social media isn't going to convert into dollars for you. Social media is a platform to drive clients either to your website or to a sales funnel. And again, that's going to be another live stream. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to mention something. I talked to Jessica right before. She is so funny. And I said, I want to do something really special for you guys for being on live. And this is what I'm going to do. At the end, toward the end here, in about another 10 minutes, I am going to have Jessica post a link. And what I'd like to gift you, There's just so many new people here. I wanted to gift you a complimentary coaching call with me. And there might be some people on here that have had a coaching call with me, and trust me, we could get a lot done in 30 minutes if we're one-pointed. So I wanted to gift that to you. So in about 10 minutes, she's going to post the link for you to click on and then choose the time that you want with me. And I only opened up X amount of slots. I did this in January, and it was overkill for me. So I'm opening up just a couple of weeks of slots there for you, and that's my gift for you for coming on this live stream today. So let's go back to some more questions. Let's see here. Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet, Lori. She said she's been an esthetician for 17 years and she still loves listening to advice, and this is great advice. I always say that, we can never, and I spend my days, learning every morning. That's like my 2 hours every morning. I spend what's going on in business, what's going on in marketing, what can I create for you to break it down into small bite-sized chunks that you're going to grasp and, plug into your business model right away. And, if I didn't spend my days learning myself, I wouldn't have these great things, right? And so we have to continually stay up with education. That's and why? Because, the marketplace rewards innovation. And when you can find new problems to new solutions, forgive me, new solutions to old problems, holy cow, are you ahead of the game. You are so ahead of the game. So, right on about education. Never stop learning. Never, never, never stop learning. Let's see. Jessica, yeah, spent 8 years as a solo SD, and yes, could have used some mentoring. It's so true. It's really true. Lacey, you just did this. You said you learned to stay in your lane. Absolutely. Jessie, she says it sounds like her boss. She wants to take all the newest services and push those, even when we aren't even full with our current offerings. Tanya, am I making all of this avatar info up? Well, you're creating your ideal client, right? Okay, let me just say this. When I was, and I didn't even know what I was doing when I was approaching people at the department store, I was as green as they come, okay? My hands were sweating. I was like going up to people. But what was I doing? I will admit it. I was doing a little profiling. You know what I mean? Because I went up to people that were like me. I went up to people that dressed like me. No, I was in my lab coat. I was in my lab coat and my professional spa wear with my little name tag. But, that was me. I didn't realize that I was honing in on, my avatar, so to speak, but that's what I was kind of doing, because let's just, use this as an example. A lot of estheticians, a lot of you get into practice because you've either had acne previously, right? Hyperpigmentation, whatever. You had problems of your own with your own skin that you wanted to fix. And that's a really great place to start, because, like I said, now, even in my coaching, my clients are a previous me. And when I was an esthetician, those clients were previous me. So that's a really good place to start. I hope that's helpful. That's a real basic place to start. And then you could build upon it, and your avatar could grow. Maybe you don't have it figured out in 5 minutes. Don't beat yourself up. 1% improvements. That's what I'm always coaching. Let's enjoy the ride. Rome wasn't built in a day. We know this. You cannot build, a business overnight. It takes it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it takes time to build, but slow and steady wins the race, right? The ones that win, the ones that come out on top, the top 20% of estheticians that are successful, they're not giving up, right? That's the difference with them. They're not giving up. So don't give up. This is just another little piece of info. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do my best here. Let's see. All right. Oh my gosh. You know what I'm going to do for you guys too, and I totally don't mind this at all, because I want to be able to answer a lot of your questions. So once I'm off of this live stream today, I'm going to go through and I'm going to spend some time and I'm going to answer those questions, because I don't want anyone to feel left out. That's for sure. I totally love helping. So what do you think, Jessica? Is it time to, share the link of my gift, my coaching call? So she's going to share the link, and I encourage you to take advantage of this complimentary coaching call. It's just a passion of mine. I love helping. I spoke to hundreds of estheticians in the last year alone, and it's something that I love to do. All right, so let's see. Oh, Paula, is that how you pronounce your name? Paula Harris. She says, what types of things can you do if you're not in a place that has a lot of foot traffic and it's out of your home, as far as marketing? Now, this is a really good thing, because I coach a lot of estheticians these days who don't want the overhead, and they do have a practice out of their home, and this is coming up more and more. My answer to you is, it's not impossible, to build. It's just gonna be harder. It's gonna be harder because, and it might take you longer. So just slow and steady, keep your pace. And you're probably going to be doing all of your building on referral, because you're inviting people into your home. And so you want people to come into your home that I'm assuming. So it's not impossible, but it just takes a little bit longer. And if you're willing to stay the course, you can build a nice practice. All right. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do there is, I really want to thank Jessica. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Please let me know if you loved this live stream today. I didn't see any hearts go across the screen. I did on one of my last live streams. Maybe you're not able to do it on this one. I don't know. But I hope you learned something. And it was really a pleasure to spend this 45 minutes with you. I want to stay on point because I really respect everyone's time, and just thank you for being here with me. And Jessica, go ahead and share that link if you haven't done so already. And when I sign off, I'm going to go through and answer some of the questions in the comment section. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day.